Welcome back to the channel. My name is Steven. I'm a pharmacist. I own 52 units of real estate and I help coach people to buy their first multifamily deal. So today I want to talk about questions that I've asked ChatGPT in relation to my situation and retiring early and financial freedom and basically obtaining my final goal of the FIRE movement of being able to be financially independent and to retire early. So obviously, you've been following my journey for a while. I've, built up a probably $6 million plus net worth. I own 52 units of real estate and I cash flow about $10,000 a month, on average. And, over like $5 million real estate portfolio. So if you calculate my return on equity, it's not that strong. It's maybe 2 or 3%. And, so obviously if I want a better return on equity, I would have to essentially, either sell my properties and ideally 1031 exchange it, right, into more cash flowing properties. So like, for example, I have one single family home that I could 1031 exchange, right? There's about $800,000 of equity in there that I would get tax free, and I can use that to almost buy like 9 Huntsville, Alabama properties that each rent out for, let's call it $2,000 each. So that's about $18K a month gross. Versus what I'm getting right now, it's $4,000 a month gross for my property because the rents in California haven't really caught up with how much they're worth and how much they appreciate it. So, I go from 4,000 to 18,000, and maybe each property will cash flow about maybe $300, $400, depending on the interest rates on average. So that's about $3,200 a month in cash flow that I can get, which is almost the rent that I'm getting right now in my property in, the Bay Area. So times that by a few properties. So I have a lot of properties where, they have a lot of equity, but the rent is not that great. So the property either breaks even or the property makes a little bit of cash flow, but relative to how much equity each deal has, it has a weak return on equity. So, obviously, I could sell a property, 1031 exchange it into a more cash flow market. So basically sell my California single family homes and go to like a cash flow market like Oklahoma, where I can buy apartments, or Huntsville, Alabama, where I can buy new construction single family homes. So, that's kind of one thing I need to do basically if I want to retire early, or that's something I've been thinking. And another thing that's kind of been holding me back from, early retirement is I don't know the cost of having kids. Like I plan to have 2 kids ideally, and hopefully they're healthy kids. And that kind of like held me back, and it was very ambiguous. I don't know how much it cost. So like one day, like Christine and I, my wife, like before we went to sleep, like we were just asking ChatGPT questions because she was mentioning that, hey, people use ChatGPT as like a therapist. So I was just like, hey, let me ask ChatGPT my situation. Like I just said, hey, if someone's worth $7 million, let's just call it $2 million in stock / liquidity, $5 million in real estate. Can somebody retire at 35 years old, which is my age right now? So this is our combined net worth now that I'm married, and live in a high cost of living area like Los Angeles, right? So I literally asked ChatGPT that question, and I threw in the caveat like with a paid off primary residence. And what ChatGPT said was, okay, so you basically have $5 million in real estate equity, and you have $2 million in like stocks. And it automatically went to, okay, if you live off the 4% rule on the 2 million, that's roughly around, what is that? Like $40,000 a year, assuming the 4% rule. And then they said, well, it depends on your $5 million in equity. Is it in a paid off house? Is it in rental income or income producing assets? So in my case, it is like income producing assets. So, I cash flow about $10,000 a month, so $120K a year, let's just call it. So my $5 million real estate portfolio, generates about $10K a month, $120K a year. The 4% rule in the 2 million is about 40,000. And in that caveat, I have a paid off house. So that's about 160K. So let's just make it 150K for simplicity of income that I get between the 4% rule, my stock portfolio, and the passive income that I get from my real estate. That's 140K. So basically, it's saying if I can generate about 140K with a paid off house, I can live comfortably in Los Angeles. And if I didn't have a paid off house, they assume the average mortgage is going to be about um, $4,000 to $5,000 a month. So that's about $60,000 a year. So obviously, um, you know, it makes my fire number a lot higher. So I have to add, if I'm 150, I need about $200,000 to retire if I have a mortgage or I'm paying rent. So so I was like, interesting. Like, that's how much I need to live in Los Angeles. So let's just call it, I need 200,000 if I don't have a paid off house or mortgage and add rent, versus it's about 150 if I have a paid off house, right? So, obviously a lot less money to retire with a paid off house, because that's your largest expense. And then I asked, okay, ChatGPT. So basically, it just said, hey, if you can live off of like 150K, assuming you have a paid off house, you could basically retire right now. And then another question I asked ChatGPT was, okay, like, how much does it cost on average to take care of a family of four in Los Angeles? And what it came down to was each kid, on average, over 18 years, averages to be about $2,000 a month right now, right? So if I have two kids, that's $4,000 a month. So, and that 150K, that 150K that I need to live off of is basically including the two kids. So, I forgot to include that the cost to live for a family of four in Los Angeles is roughly around 150K a year, assuming you have no mortgage. It's about 200K per year if you do have a mortgage, at least. So I just said, okay, I need 150K in like passive income. So right now, my real estate portfolio is roughly, so that's about 150K is to live with that portfolio. So, obviously I'm gonna do a deeper dive on this, but it kind of like hit me kind of hard a little bit. I was just like, okay, wow. Like, if I literally just sold my whole portfolio, $7 million, and let's just say after taxes is $6 million, and let's just call it after I paid off my primary residence, let's subtract $100 million. So I have $5 million in liquid assets, and if you assume the 4% rule, that's $200,000 a year off of $5 million. That's liquid, paid off house, and all my money dumped into stocks, right? And cash and treasury bills and more liquid stuff. That's $200,000 a year with a paid off house that I can have right now. So basically, I could retire like right now, today, but I have to sell a lot of assets and dump a lot of it into stocks, right? So I need to definitely have a paid off house. Probably have to sell my other single family homes that have, lower cash flow, and then keep the properties at cash flow. So like my 2 apartments, right? Or I could sell properties and pay off debt. So basically, I was just like, okay, like, I can have $200,000 a year and a paid off house, and in California, I need about $100,000 if it's just me living here, and about $150,000 if it's a family of 4, right? So if it's just me and my wife don't want kids, and we want to do that dink lifestyle, it's going to be about $100,000 to live. Sorry, I messed up earlier. So 150 is for a family of 4. 100 is just for me and my wife right now, right? And 150 is assuming a paid off house. If you don't have a paid off house, it's 200,000. So let me break down it again. Sorry if I lost you. 100,000 to live for just me and Christine right now. It's going to be 150 for a family of 4, and then about 200,000 if you have a mortgage, right? So because the average is about $4,000 or $5,000 a month. So I could have basically no mortgage and have $200,000 a year, which is greater than 150. So I still have $50,000 in a buffer and cushion reserve for any unexpected expenses. So basically, I could retire like right now. And it was kind of eye-opening because I kind of felt like the finances of having a kid was kind of holding me back from retiring. And because I didn't know what it was very ambiguous. It was very amorphous. Like, people just arbitrarily pick, I want $20,000 a month in positive cash flow because that's how much I want to live. But if you actually looked at your expenses and break down your expenses, like, it's not like that bad, right? It's not as much as you think. Like, even right now, like, our mortgage is about, let's just call it $7,000. Property tax, insurance, everything, our living expense. Like right now, me and Christine probably spend at most 3,000 between the both of us for everything else. That's 10,000 bucks a month, right? To basically live our current situation. Times that by 12, that's 120K. So about 120K. So let's make it 150K, right? And if you look at my portfolio right now, I'm making 10,000 bucks a month in positive cash flow. And I have the 4% rule of my $2 million portfolio, which is 40,000. So roughly, to live my life, I need about, right now, 150K with a mortgage in passive income. And right now, my portfolio gives me 150K, assuming the 4% rule on the 2 million and the 10,000 bucks a month I get on my $5 million of equity, which is a low return equity, right? It's a very low. It's like less than 2%, I think. I can get a better return selling it and putting my money into, high yield savings account, but this isn't factoring in like principal pay down and appreciation and all this other good stuff, right? So it was very eye opening when I thought about that. I was like, I could fire literally right now in any situation I think of, right? Right now, we and Christine need 150K a year to live. My portfolio generates me 150K a year to live right now with a mortgage. I'm good. Okay, if I have kids, right, it's gonna increase our expenses by 4,000 bucks a month, right? So 2,000 per each kid on average for the life of 18 years, according to ChatGPT, in a high cost living area like Los Angeles and Southern California. But if I pay off my property, I lose a 5,500 bucks a month mortgage. So now I'm only spending, instead of spending 5,500 bucks on a mortgage, that's wiped out, but now I'm spending 4,000 on my 2 kids. I'm still saving 1,500 bucks a month. So basically, it's kind of a wash. If I don't have a mortgage, I can afford to cover my kids. And, once again, my expense is 150K. And my passive income portfolio generates about 150K with like a paid off house, right? And obviously I can juice up my return on my real estate income if I, 1031 exchange on my properties. Like if I sell one property, pay off my primary, no more mortgage, I sell another property, 1031 exchange that, and go buy like 3 or 4 Huntsville, Alabama properties that each rent out for 2,000 bucks each, and gain cash flow 300 bucks each. So now I'm increasing my cash flow by 1,200, and I'm more leveraged, right? So that's how I can kind of do it. So it was kind of interesting to think like, okay, regardless of right now, if I want to retire, I can do it with a mortgage. If I have kids and no mortgage, I can retire right now. And I was just like, oh my God, it kind of like hit me. And I remember telling Christine, like, are we going to be motivated to go to work tomorrow? And surprisingly, when I went to work the next day, I felt more motivated because I was like, you know what, I'm working because I'm choosing to work, right? It's very freeing when you're going to work because you choose to work, because it's adding value to you still in a way, right? And it's hopefully not too stressful. But one day, if you lose that value from work, or it's too stressful, or your priorities change, we can both step away at our leisure. So it was very freeing in a weird way. And now I feel less anxiety about how much does it cost to raise a kid, because now I have a number attached. So I was anxious about how much it costs to provide for a family because I didn't know hard numbers, hard costs. I didn't have data. But once ChatGPT told me it's about 2,000 bucks per kid, I was like, okay, it's 4,000 bucks a month. That's doable, right? Like that's doable right now. So no mortgage. I just allocate that money towards my kids, right? Like, so I used to allocate 5,500 bucks a month to my mortgage. Now I can allocate 5,500 bucks a month to your kid, right? Because I get activities are expensive, daycare, hopefully they're healthy, and all that good stuff. So it was very interesting when I kind of went through this exercise. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask ChatGPT the prompt, and I'm gonna screen share, and then I'm gonna split screen it, and then I'll analyze this again, like in more organized fashion. This is just me sharing my brain word vomiting what I was thinking, but it was just very eye-opening to realize that wow, I could basically do it right now, because for the longest time I just think that kids were like just so expensive. But like I was like, it's about having a kid, 2 kids, like having a mortgage and paying rent in Los Angeles. I was like, okay, like I just need to like either save $4,000 in expense by having no mortgage, or for cash flow 4,000 bucks a month more. For me, I lean towards having 4,000 less in expenses because it's more conservative versus trying to increase my cash flow. But I'm in the position where I can do both. I can literally pay off my house and 1031 exchange on their property to get more cash flow, right? So I can literally do both. So maybe that's what I'm going to do, right? That's what I'm probably going to do. So anyways, if you want to learn to buy multifamily real estate with some guidance, some mentorship, click on my link tree down below. From there, you can get a link. Also, I have a free newsletter. Otherwise, let me know what questions you have. Hopefully I didn't lose you on this one. I'll try to do a better job next time. But let me know what questions you have. Let me know what insights you gained, and hope to see you next one. Thank you so much.